Thanks for listening to the Tech Tools for Teachers podcast, where each week we talk about a free piece or two of technology that you can use in your classroom. I'm your host, Shanna Martin. I'm a middle school teacher, technology, and instructional coach from my district.
And I'm her producer and husband, Fuzz Martin, and I'm just working to put this show on the map.
Oh, clever.
Yeah.
Cute.
We're on the 135th episode of the Tech Tools for Teachers podcast.
Just got back from Slate.
Yeah, how was Slate?
Some quality time with other teachers and technology. It was fun. It's been a while since I've been there, a couple years off, and went back this year. And
I know you passed out some business cards, so hello to our new listeners from Slate.
Hello.
Thanks for tuning in.
Yeah, so it was fun. Usually my district goes with just a small group, and there was like 9 of us this time, and we learned lots of things, and then we'll go back and present some cool technology and activities and project-based learning and SEL, and there's cool stuff with like PBS, and there's just so many things. So we learned lots of cool things to bring back to our staff. So thank you to all the presenters and all like the teachers that present, and then the keynote speakers. I know it's a lot of work that goes into that, so it's always fun, and I feel like I bring stuff out of there back to my staff, and sometimes here to the podcast too. So that's fun.
Did you happen to go hang out in the pool at all?
No, it's all adults. We don't usually go to the pool.
Yeah. Adults typically, unless you're in someplace warmer, they don't typically go hang out. Like
I'm not going to hang out with my coworkers by the pool.
Hey, superintendent, you want to come down the water slide with me?
That's weird. Yeah, no, but we hang out. We have good meals and fun camaraderie. So it's good.
Good.
So back from Slate, it's freezing. It's snowing here in good old Wisconsin.
It's true.
Those of you in warmer climates that listen,
go down your water slides.
Enjoy your time. This week we are talking about a very cool site. It's called StoryMap. It is created by Nightlab. So the website itself is called storymap.nightlab.com. So StoryMap.KNIGHTLAB.com. So StoryMap, JS maps that tell stories. It's a very cool site.
And Nightlab is from Northwestern University. Mm-hmm. So they're a community of designers, developers, students, and educators working on experiments designed to push journalism into new spaces. I read that if you couldn't tell.
Reading the About tab. Good job. So StoryMap is a really cool tool. I'm thinking that 5th grade on up could easily, probably even 4th grade at this point, could easily manipulate the site all the way through high school. And it's a way of telling stories, but using maps at the same time, hence the name StoryMap. And it's really user friendly. So, and they have really cool, they even have like tips and tricks when you're setting these up. Like keep it short, recommend don't have more than 20 slides, pick your stories, have strong locations and narratives. So when you're telling a story, it's all within like a certain place, so that way you're not like bouncing all over the world. A lot of times in Google Earth, we'll do that where you're like flying from one place to another. This is more like if you're going to set up the story map of like a vacation or like a national park in a specific area. Actually, they have an example here that's Westeros, which is pretty fantastic.
Oh, that's cool.
So you can pull and literally tell a story with these maps of whatever area, whatever map you kind of load in. So things aren't necessarily automatic. You do have lots and lots of options. So I'm going to kind of walk you through here. So there's like this giant green button, make a story map. It connects to Google, like most things at this point, which is always fantastic. You give it a title and it creates this base, and it looks kind of like, where do I go from here? And like the map is black and white. It's very stark, and you're kind of like, I don't know where to start. What's nice is you have the choice to choose your media. So you can select if you're going to drop in media from a URL or if you're going to upload an image. So this is like your title page. You can pick if you're going to like do a vacation in Disney, like pick a family vacation from Disney picture, drop that image in. Once that uploads into your spot, you can go ahead and give credits, captions of whatever it's going to be, give it a headline, type in, and you have choices with your fonts. And if you want to add like links into that, you can do so. And you have background options. So like on the bottom right, kind of work your way through. You can choose background colors, or you can add a picture, or you can upload images, and that's fine too. And that's just your story slide. And it doesn't look like much when you're working on it. And click preview, and then you get a real like version of what your story map starting page would look like. So you've kind of like a working editing space, and then your preview is where you actually get to see what you're working on. And then as you add a slide, same thing each time. You can pull up your images, type in your headline, and then tell your story. So if kids are doing this with nonfiction and they're walking through a space, like if you're doing a geography lesson, or if you're doing like a specific park or place, you can type in that research information. Or if students are telling a story or a narrative, maybe they're writing a story about something in Chicago, and they could take images from Chicago and write a story and put images with it that way, which is really cool. And you just click on a slide, add your information, and you have the same background choices, those marker options. You can choose and add in all kinds of different things, which is awesome. Very user-friendly. You do need to click the save button, which is in the upper left-hand side. Then, also in the upper left-hand area where you're hitting save, if you want to change the size of your map, what I really, really appreciate is you can change the language. So if you want your map to read, they have probably over 40 languages that you can work in, which is awesome. So if you want your map to be in Spanish, you can create it in Spanish. If you want it to be in German, if you want it to be in Italian, you can pick and choose what language you want it to be in. You can choose your font. You can treat it as a cartography or an image. Like you can choose if you want to be a map or an image. You can choose if you want a call to action on it. And then your map type. So you have types of maps that you can work with. They have like black and white. They have like a watercolor map. They have just a standard like open regular map. And then you can create custom maps. So that's when you can upload something. If you're pulling like Westeros or something, you can upload that map. And then that's the one that you're going to work with, which is kind of cool. And it shows you where you give credit to everybody who's created the maps and things like that. Yeah,
the credit and caption there. Yeah. That's really cool. I am like...
You're playing around with it?
Well, I am. So I was thinking of...
You look very serious over there while you are working on this.
So we've talked about it, I'm sure, in one of our previous 134 episodes. But I am the president of the Wisconsin 9/11 Memorial. Mm-hmm. And a part of our lesson planning is to, help create a story of how the steel got from the World Trade Center to Wisconsin. Mm-hmm. And just thinking like this would be a perfect visual for kids to show how the steel got from the World Trade Center and the journey that it took in order to get to where it's positioned today. So.
Yeah. And then you can, when you go to share it, you can just share the link. You can share it on social media or share it with your teacher, have a little description with it, and you can share out your information really easily. But there's like you talked about the steel getting there. I was thinking about when you brought up 9/11 Memorial, I was thinking like a tour around the space of the memorial. Like that would be an image where you could like drop in. Yeah. On each of the places, or like a tour around your town, or if you're teaching community with younger students, like learning where things are at in the community. Like these are going to be like local maps or smaller areas. Yeah. You could definitely use a bigger space, but it looks cooler and it's easier, I think, to understand if you're working within a smaller area, like maybe the state of Wisconsin or, that kind of thing. And they do have they keep your collection of your little maps. So you can have all your, like they all save in like a little dashboard kind of thing. But what's also nice is that they have example maps too. So if you're like, I don't know where to start, on their homepage, they have all kinds of cool pre-created maps. So you can say, this is how far you can take this project. So you can do really simple where you just have images dropped on a map with the story being told and images added, and you flip through the slides, or you can make it way in depth and more detailed and things like that, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, that's very cool.
And then it just flips through. So once it's all loaded in, you hit preview and you can just check, and like any kind of slideshow, there's a little arrow and you just arrow from slide to slide, and it has your descriptions and your images. And then you can click the share button on the right-hand side and share it out with whoever you would like to share your cool story map with.
Love it.
So that is StoryMap. I thought it was a really cool find. And also I'll probably end up talking about this one, not just StoryMap, but I'll talk about the Night Lab probably several times over, because there's all kinds of cool projects that they have started and like different ways that you can create and interact. And I think it's a really neat setup that they have. So,
yeah, it's really cool. It's the tool itself is wonderful.
Yeah. So StoryMap, check it out. It's storymap.nightlab.com. Again, many, many content areas and many age levels can use this one. And it's really user-friendly and not super complicated. As long as you can type and upload images, you can make a pretty cool story out of the whole thing.
Yeah, there's so many possibilities. What a cool tool, Shannon. Good work.
It's a cool tool.
Cool tools for schools.
Wow.
Yeah, well, I'm, to be honest, I'm way surprised that's the first time I've ever said that on the show.
That is true. But anyway.
But here we are.
On that note, so thanks for tuning in. This has been the Tech Tools for Teachers podcast. If you ever have any questions, you can find me on Twitter @SmartNWI. And if you want to get more information on the links and technology discussed in this episode, you can visit smartnwi.com. If you'd like to support the show, please consider buying me a coffee or two. Visit buymeacoffee.com/smartnwi or visit smartnwi.com and click on that cute little purple coffee cup. Your donations help keep this show going. New episodes each week. Thanks for listening. Go educate and innovate.
The ideas and opinions expressed on this podcast and the Smart NWI website are those of the author, Shannon Martin, and not of her employer. Prior to using any of the technologies discussed on this episode, please consult with your employer regulations. This podcast offers no guarantee that these tools will work for you as described, but we hope they do.